Hiya, it's me again. You probably clicked on this video thinking, Sarah's made another video. What's going on here? So some of you may know that I do a film blog called Popcorn Chat, and I post on that blog every other week. So due to the elephant in the room, I'm going to be posting blogs every week now. So I'm going to be posting a film review every Sunday as opposed to every other Sunday. And then I thought to myself, I make videos for a living and I love films, I love any sort of like media. Why am I not making videos about the actual film reviews that I'm writing about? So this week's film is True Romance. It came out in 1993 and was directed by a British director called Tony Scott and was written by Quentin Tarantino. Obviously we all know Quentin Tarantino. And this is one of the projects where he actually wrote it and didn't direct it, and he doesn't have any acting roles in it. So this film is full of amazing actors that we all know from various films and cult classics, but at the time a lot of them weren't necessarily known. So for example you have Christian Slater, Christopher Walken, Samuel L. Jackson makes an appearance, Gary Oldman, and then you have the likes of Brad Pitt, who sort of plays a very small role within this, but has still developed a cult following because of this film. What's quite interesting is a lot of these actors used in this film appear a lot in Tarantino's own work, so they've obviously developed a sort of relationship whilst filming this film. So we meet our protagonist Clarence, who seems a bit of a loner, a bit of an isolated character, who has this massive obsession with Elvis. And it's his birthday, and we see that he goes to the cinema by himself on his birthday. I mean, I would probably do that, to be fair. And this is where Clarence meets Alabama, and this is where their sort of relationship sort of flourishes. They go on to have a really sort of interesting day, and the rest of the night, you know, is history, and this romance sort of blossoms. And out of that, Alabama confesses to Clarence that she is in fact a call girl, that she has a pimp, but she wants to sort of leave that life behind because she thinks she really loves this guy. And then we see they get married very, very quickly. It's all happens really quickly within the first sort of 10 minutes of the film. So Clarence learns about Alabama's pimp, played by Gary Oldman, and sort of how he sort of mistreated her, and he wants to seek revenge basically on her behalf. And what comes from this is ultimately a bloodbath. Clarence ends up not only shooting Gary Oldman's character, but he also sort of, you know, kills a lot of his surrounding gang, and this ultimately spikes interest from the police. So the rest of the film is Alabama and Clarence trying to sort of avoid getting caught by these gangs, by the police, and sort of trying to sell the drugs in order to get this dream life that they've been searching for. Ultimately the film ends in a bit of a bloodbath, you know, very Tarantino style. We see Alabama crying over Clarence's body, and we as an audience, I know personally for me, I thought that he was dead, and I thought that was sort of the route we're going to go down. We were then going to follow how Alabama escapes this, but he's not dead. So the two go off with the money in the convertible car, driving down the highway. So they have sort of reached this dream that they've been looking for, and they sort of get the ending that they want. With a lot of films like this, it's normally a tragic ending. You sort of see the protagonist gets what they deserve ultimately, but in this one they manage to escape, and it sort of shows how love prevails, and the strong bond that these two have is what helped to get them through this incident that they got caught up in, and they are able to live the dream life that they've been looking for. So after watching the film, I sort of did a bit more research and I took it in a bit more, like I do with most films, and I sort of realised how pinnacle this film is to a lot of cultural references. So for example, take The End of the Fucking World. In season 1 we see these two characters, they are on the run for something that was an accident, very similar to True Romance, and there's even a scene later in season 1 where they have to change their clothes, and James sort of dons this red Hawaiian shirt, and I just remember thinking, like, this is so bizarre, why is he wearing a Hawaiian shirt? Out of every shirt he could have got, or a t-shirt, he chooses that. And of course that's so, you know, that's such a calling back to True Romance. There's a scene where Christian Slater is wearing a red Hawaiian shirt. Throughout the film we come across a lot of characters who are isolated and have this sort of grudge against the world or their job, you know. There's a lot of these people don't like the current situation they're in, We don't see any families, we don't see any sort of groups of people, everyone's isolated. Even Clarence's friend who lives in an apartment doesn't get on with his flatmate. They're still quite, you know, separate characters. Clarence's dad, for example, he's by himself. I know he has a dog, but he's very isolated. Clarence himself is very isolated, and that's why his boss gets him a call girl to begin with. But nonetheless, Clarence and Alabama are the sort of the gel that everyone else is missing in this world that Tony Scott has built. Their relationship, their love for each other is like the strongest thing, and regardless of anything that happens, they're still consistent, and it's probably one of the best forms of like a romantic relationship I've seen on film in a long time. Even in that first act, when Clarence comes back and tells Alabama that he has killed her pimp, she looks like she's going to cry because she's fearing for her life. But ultimately, she said it's the most romantic thing she's ever seen. And to the audience, we just think, he's just killed all these people. Obviously, she doesn't know that he's killed more than the pimp, but still, in her eyes and in this sort of their relationship, that's the most romantic thing he could have done, because he loved her so much. He was willing to kill, her history, her sort of past, the thing that was sort of holding on to her when she wanted to start this new life with him. So ultimately, I did really enjoy this film. I definitely will be watching this again. In my book, it ticks a lot of boxes. You've got your romance, your action, your tension. There's all these sort of intense moments and that pushes the characters forward. There's no sort of standstill scenes that you're thinking, oh, this is dragging on. Every action pushes these characters towards that end sort of scene, the whole sort of, shootout, everything. And then you get the other two perspectives, you get the gangs, you get the cops. So it's all pushing these characters to this end point, and I think that's really good writing by Tarantino, to be fair. I do like Tarantino films, but this was a little bit different, and I think that does help because the director was different. There's elements of Tarantino in it, but Tony Scott was able to put his own sort of spin on that. So I'm going to give True Romance 4 out of 5. I hope you guys enjoyed me sort of coming back, doing a sit-down video. Like I said, I'm going to be doing these weekly now, so whatever review I do on a film, obviously all the films at the minute are, older films because I can't go to the cinema, clearly. So if you have any suggestions or any classics or any cult sort of films that you want me to watch, please let me know. Leave a comment saying, Sarah, watch this. Can't believe you've not watched this. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this video and liked this setup. It's very sort of casual, but I wanted to just sort of get my views out of what I thought of this film. So I'll see you guys next week for another popcorn chat.